Mr. Ramirez,
Yes.
you are definitely the talk of the town, my man.
Apparently so, right?
But, I mean, it's not just you. I
No.
think the entire election that took place on Tuesday, everyone that was involved
Absolutely.
are all the talk of the town,
Yes,
especially on social media.
Absolutely.
And just to kind of give you a background, some of the things that I talk with my listeners about are obviously anything from pop culture to news to sports. We talk about it all here on the show. And when I get obsessed with something, I get obsessed with it.
Okay.
And I will tell you that I got obsessed with figuring out what is going on with this recall election in Hanford City Council and District D. And I had all the candidates on last week. I even had you on.
Absolutely.
You called into the show. You were able to speak your piece before the election. The election took place on Tuesday.
Yes, it did.
And the results showed that we now have a new Hanford City Councilwoman, Diane Sharp.
That is correct.
Who joined us here yesterday, really briefly, but was very excited to start her new job as Hanford City Councilwoman. Now, we also had Shelley Barker
Yes
call in yesterday.
I heard.
And give her reaction to the recall. So now, Mr. Ramirez, you have an opportunity now to give your reaction to the recall election, and I want to provide you this platform. So tell me your first thoughts after finding out that you were being recalled.
My first thoughts is that, when I look at this, we can clearly see that this was not the will of the people. It was I would say a full-out rigged election, because we're seeing that they spent over $13,000 on walkers out there getting out signatures. We're seeing that altogether they spent plus another probably $15,000 on flyers, 7 flyers to my whole district, using just propaganda upon propaganda. And like I said, I proved without a shadow of doubt with HanfordLies.com that there's corruption in this community. And it just goes to show you, which actually, tell you the truth, I'm really happy with the results, because despite them spending $35,000, the turnout was really low. And in the process, you're looking at about $75 per vote, or even more than that, which tells you that they wanted to spend a lot of money just to get me out of office.
So you mentioned something in a social media video that I saw you do, in which you had just found out that the elections had occurred. You got the results.
Yes.
You mentioned that looking at the numbers, had you been a candidate, that you would have defeated the other candidates in the election. Kind of be a little bit more specific on that.
Not a problem. What we're looking at, that's not even including the absentee ballots that were left out there. And I know a lot of people wrote in, but we're looking at the polling from the actual election itself. It said people actually voted no on the recall, yes alone on the no itself, versus the other candidates. I would have won about, maybe with the absentee ballots, I probably would have won by 14 votes. So,
really? Okay.
Yeah, I would have won. So that's a good indicator that the citizens support me. And I had, the sad thing is, I had citizens calling me the next morning saying, we voted yes. I'm like, you're supposed to vote no. So some people are confused that when they meant like, yes, we want Ramirez, and they didn't correlate that. A lot of people actually got confused that they supposed to voted no on the recall.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're saying that there was also confusion amongst voters.
Absolutely.
Okay. I got a call from Paula Massey, who was also a candidate yesterday. She had mentioned that she was not too happy with the turnout from the voters. I mean, why was it so low? What do you think? Why was it so low? Was it because of the controversies around it that people were just kind of turned off to it?
I think that had a lot to do with it. For the simple fact is, we don't want to, and the sad thing is that hopefully this is over on some parts. Some parts are going to still be pending, but it just made Hanford look bad. It looked trashy, and in the process, it gave us a little black eye. And it's just, a lot of people didn't want to deal with it. They didn't want to see that, because from what I heard, there was about maybe 2,000 extra absentee ballots that went out there. All they had to do was mail it in, and it would have been counted. So that's a good indicator.
And according to the HanfordSentinel.com and the article that they wrote on the election coverage as far as the results, they said that there are absentee ballots out there, but that it would not affect the election.
No, okay. The odds of that, if it's I'm losing by I think 90 on the yes. The odds of them coming, unless there was a huge major turnout, I don't see it, honestly.
I want to get your thoughts on some of the things that you've been posting recently,
Yes.
just in the past day, because I get notifications on this stuff too. So, for example, just recently you posted a video
Yes.
of a
Yes.
celebration
Yes.
that took place
Absolutely.
After the election results were out. Why was it important for you to put a video like that on social media of somebody else's page?
Because I wanted to prove that there's collusion, and I actually had a screenshot that our new city councilwoman or councilman woman elect, Diane Sharp, liked that video, saying this is awesome, basically, and that Christy Lee, our assessor, the one that actually counts the votes, liked that video. So I mean, if that not tells you that, if this doesn't tell you that there's something going on there, then perhaps you're blind. Because the reality is that why would the assessor get involved and like that video? Have you seen that video?
I saw briefly
Okay.
some moments of it because it was a little shaky as
Okay.
far as the quality.
Let me elaborate on that video a little bit, which is sad. And the funny thing is, Mrs. Shelley Barker said my supporters were uneducated, and I really want to direct that to her, that they're not uneducated. They did due diligence, and I just want to leave that at that. But the reality in that video, they're saying there was no conspiracy to get rid of me. But one of the individuals actually within that video was a Dan Chin supporter that was getting all the signatures to get me out of office. And then she said she had Lou Martinez come over that same night, and they were arguing against each other prior to that, saying, I don't like him, I hate his guts. But all of a sudden, she's having him over. So you could clearly see that there's something going on there in that process. But the sad thing, the reality is, she has made some accusations upon accusations. All I urge people, if they want to go look at the video themselves, judge for yourself. Go to facebook.com/Real Ramirez and just judge for yourself. But it was horrible. It was in terrible taste. I'm just glad that, to be truthful, she didn't get in office, because she would have represented us really bad.
Now, you guys have also traded some comments on social media
Yes.
as well. We're talking specifically about Shelley Barker, who was
Yes,
on the show yesterday,
absolutely.
also a former candidate
Yes.
of the election, and now just a public citizen. She called on the phone yesterday to give us her reaction.
Yes.
But you guys were kind of going back and forth with each other on old photos
Yes.
on social media. Why was that? Why were you guys, because I looked at about maybe a little after midnight last night. I'm
know.
getting notifications
Me
on an
too.
old photo. What's going on? Why were you guys trading comments?
Because she was stating in a debate that I haven't, before she got in office, and she was stating that video before I got in office, that she was the one that was helping me with supporting veterans and all that stuff, and some things that are not even true. And she stated that she was the one that started the community garden. And I said, Shelley, she showed it on social media page that she helped the community garden. She helped start it. And I said, Shelley, I'm the one that took the picture. And then one of the supporters, I didn't even know I had it in my archives, tagged me in it. And she says, Mr. Ramirez, you were telling the truth. I said, yeah, I'm telling the truth. I mean, so I said, you know what? Here's just goes to show you another lie that Shelley Barker is telling people.
You guys seem to have been, I would say, friends,
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
I mean, there were a lot of photos that I saw from the past in which you
Absolutely.
guys were together.
Absolutely. And the thing is I'm not saying this because I'm not going to have no accusations, but like I said, do the research of the people that are involved in this whole recall. There's videos and there's images of Shelley with Kalish, with Mark Cole, with Dan Chin, is smiling, taking pictures, sending it to my friend, saying, this is who we are and what we are about. And I was shocked, and I'm like, but I still try to give her the benefit of doubt. Then I'm hearing at pharmacies, I'm hearing at stores, citizens coming up to me and saying, there's this lady that's talking smack about you, and I find it really sad. And people say, it's just so sad. Didn't she support you? I said, I think so. Apparently not. So and she would come to Thursday Night Market, and I gave her the benefit of doubt, where she would come to the Thursday Night Market, and she would be at the Libertarian booth, and she would say, I'm not supporting them. They're just my friends. But come on, she's at the Libertarian booth saying, vote yes on the recall. Sign the petition.
Gotcha. Now, let me ask you a question. there were a lot of allegations that you made on the phone call, but you've also made specific allegations on HanfordLies.com
Oh, yes.
and also on your social media
Absolutely.
sites. There was a specific comment that I saw in which somebody said, why doesn't he go to the DA? Why doesn't he go to the law enforcement and let them know that this is all corruption? If these are major allegations of corruption, like you say,
Absolutely.
why haven't you?
I did.
Oh, okay.
I did go to DA. As soon as it happened, I went to DA. They have the recordings. I went to the DA. They said, well, this is politics. They told me this is politics. I went to the DA. I said, you know what? They're threatening my life right now. Danny Escobar, Skip Bathy, they're threatening me. They're calling me. And they said, this is politics. They didn't want to go further with it. And then, legally at that time, now hopefully our police can do something, but I don't know if they can get involved. But there are higher ups that are looking at this as of right now. So this ain't over by no means. But at that time, the police could not get involved. There's recordings. I don't know if you heard the recordings, but there's multi recordings that I didn't even get a chance to release that the police have. Where there's another recording that proves that they tried to blackmail me because they used fake names to get a hold of people to get me off of boards. And the police couldn't get involved at that time only for the simple fact I was a sitting councilman. So it would look like there's conflict of interest saying, hey, go out there and do your job and catch you guys. And I didn't want that happening.
Okay, so at the end of the day, where do you see yourself, even with amidst all this, drama and speculations and all this? Where do you see yourself now? Do you see yourself now just focusing only on campaigning for November, or are you taking a break? What's going to happen with Francisco Ramirez?
I think for right now, I'm going to take a month break. Relax. I mean, I've been going nonstop for 3 years. I think it's time that I just relax for a little bit, and then get in the mode in June, get ready to fight again. And literally, I have a lot of support out there. So in the process, I think we're going to win it again. I really have no doubts if I choose to. But I think I have so much support that I am going to do it. And people say, why are you going to put yourself through that headache again? Because at the end of the day, I just want to show that there's corruption in our community. I mean, it's been going on for so long that there's bigwigs in downtown that keep, I would say, zoning in areas that we're losing so much money. Theoretically, we're losing about $300 million a year in the process of that. And imagine if we could capitalize on that $300 million on sales tax, or what we could do for public safety for our kids. I mean, to me, it's a cry that, think about it logically. If you're going to spend $30,000 or $40,000 plus, you're going to waste another $30,000 from the city, and the job only pays $5,000 a year. There's something more than meets the eye. The reason why you want me out of office. Come on.
So, as you just mentioned, June you're going to start campaigning again for November. When you bring up the allegations and the corruption and all those, the big words.
Yes.
For the public, do you think it's not a positive light on the city of Hanford to bring up those type of things, or do you think that the public needs to know?
Oh no! It's the funny thing is the public is the one that labeled that big word of corruption, because they've seen it for so long, especially in my district. Let's be realistic. Our police chief is a wonderful chief now. He's doing a great job. But there was, I would say 10, 20 years ago, there was issues where I've heard firsthand from people, multi people, where that the police officer, a couple of police officers, I'm not going to name no names, would pick up an individual from the south side and say, come here, pick them up, and then drop them off on Houston and leave them there. Yeah, yes. And in the process, there was a stigma that the cops just were out to get them and all this stuff. And because of Parker and because of our programs, we're trying to get rid of that stigma. And hopefully, Councilwoman-elect Diane Sharp actually keeps on utilizing those programs. And there was no love. Let's be realistic. They're hating me right now. Another reason why they want me out of office, because there was no love for the South Side for the past 26 years. I mean, you're talking about no new economical development. I looked at the general plan update for the past, I believe, 4 times it was up for redeveloping. There was no new service commercial or no new mixed use commercial use over there. That's why you only see Cisneros, and you see R&M Market, which we're barely going to fill in the next couple of months. So that's why people think nobody cares about that side, because really there's no new economical development. If you want to help the people that you think are suffering in poverty, create jobs around them, because we're not from the north side, we're not from the east side, not from the west side, we're from the south side, where a lot of us, but including myself at one point in time, didn't have a car to go to work. And they say, Shelley Barker saying, it's so simple on a debate, she's like, go, just go get a car, go to the EDD. It's not all that simple. Sometimes people need a helping hand up, not a handout in the process. And it's just sad that we got to this point where the only thing that I'm sad is I was on the Kings County Community Action Board, and we're so close on getting a homeless facility with a grant, and I hope it doesn't get dropped. And the last thing that I really want to get done, and I hope that the councilwoman-elect still pushes it through, is my pet project that I wanted to get done, was that recreational facility, because I believe if you invest in our kids, we're going to save $67,000 per year if they become inmates.
Okay, so you're big on having this recreational facility take place.
Absolutely.
And is that something that's already in the works with the city council?
Yes, we have. There's blueprints out there. I'm actually still going to post it, even though I have no power to pursue it. Hopefully, the citizens go out there and pursue it. But it looks beautiful. It's going to be probably $7 to $9 million project, but it's going to incorporate an indoor soccer arena, indoor basketball, indoor rock wall, and amenities, hopefully for the seniors. And one thing that we've been lacking in our community is a place for special needs, for kids with wheelchairs or for kids with disabilities. Where do you see that, Joey? You don't. And that's what I wanted to focus on before I left.
So I guess at the end of this, you would agree that you don't want to put the city in a negative light.
Oh, absolutely not.
This is not your objective. You're
Absolutely
not here to cause trouble and just put out allegations out there that are false.
No.
You do want the city to proceed in a positive way.
Yes, because the reality is,
because I think the perception is to people that don't support you is that you have tactics of putting out false allegations for your benefit.
Yes, I mean, and they could go to hanfordlies.com, and you can clearly see if you think it's false, then that's your own judgment. But the reality is, prior to the allegations, the first year or second year I was in office, Russ Curry actually did underhandedly, the mayor at that time, underhandedly spent almost $14,000 of the city's money to investigate me, of the city's money. And I'm saying, how can he legally do that with our city attorney? Luckily, we put a law that they can't do that anymore, but he spent $14,000 of the city's. So you're talking about $30,000 plus $14,000. So that's $45,000 that they spent to look at me, which none of the allegations become true. As of yet, nothing has come of it.
So was that reimbursed to the city once they figured that out?
No, the city, we had to pay that city attorney $14,000 plus to do the investigation with his approval, and so he was one of my individuals that wanted me out of office because I wasn't going with the grain. They wanted me to fire the city manager, Joey, and I said I'm not going to fire the city manager because he's doing great. And Dan Chen, and I'll testify that in court, that Dan Chen tried to blackmail me, saying, "Hey, buddy, if you don't fire the city manager, we're going to make your life a living heck," so to speak. And he did just that. I'm out of office because of that in that process. But at the end of the day, yes, I don't want to give the city a black eye. But the reality is, anytime you have negative press, we're like a corporation. When you have negative press, we have an AA, AAA rating. Then it becomes an AA rating. Then it becomes an A rating. And I don't want that happening because I want people in business to invest in our community.
So it's not something then where, like, for example, a comment out there says, Francisco, if you don't like the way that things are going on in the city, then go somewhere else. Go, run for, city council in Porterville or somewhere. You really want to change things here in Hanford.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I wouldn't run otherwise because, honestly, at the end of the day, I've actually lost money because of this job, because there's been misinformation where clients are not going to hire me for my business, for consulting, for whatever I'm doing. They're like, hey, you have a negative check mark on you, and so I'm losing business
for things that you do outside of the council. Okay, and this is your own business.
My own business, and so in the process, I'm losing money, but in return, people don't see that effect. People don't see the effect that it had on my kids. When my kids were homeschooled, when the first day my kids were going back to school, front page newspaper, councilman corrupt, and teacher asking my kids, "Is your dad really corrupted?" And and my kids are crying and my kids are upset of these false allegations, and my kids know the truth. you know. And to me, at the end of the day, was it worth it? Perhaps on some issues, no. Personally, with my family, no. But I know, I promise you, now the people that were in the shadows are in the light, and in the process, people are going to look at them very closely from now when they endorse a candidate. And I tell people, look at their Form 460 of Hanford now, and I guarantee you'll see the corrupted people that are associated with that organization.
So at the end of the day, now that we've kind of talked about your thoughts on the recall election,
yes,
what would you like to say to your supporters that are still backing you, that still want to see you run for council position in November? What would you want to say to them right now?
Honestly, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart, because some people would say they were followers. No, they were supporters, because I told them before they got involved with me, I said, please, despite what you, and the funny thing is, despite what you hear, judge and watch the videos for yourself, and then come back to me and see if you support me. And 99.99% of the people said, we support you. And in the process, I had some angry people that said, we hate you, Mr. Ramirez, you're a corrupted politician. I said, watch the video. And one lady came up to me and cried. She says, I am so sorry that I doubted you. I was listening to your friends. I said, not a problem, don't worry about it. She says, you know what? Do you remember when you were stepping down because they took the mayorship away from me? I was going to be the mayor the next year. I was vice mayor. I was supposed to be the mayor the next year. They took that away from me. And they said, she says, do you remember when you got down from the dais, you were upset? I said, yeah, I was upset. I said, good for you. Now, aren't you proud that you're not going to be the mayor or vice mayor anymore? And I walked away. I said, well, that's rude. She says, I'm so sorry for saying that, because now that I know, I'm 100% behind you.
And what would you like to say to the people that do not support you?
To the people that don't support me, honestly, I just want to say, guys, go to HanfordLies.com. I'm out of the politics arena for right now, but do due diligence and study for yourself. And if you think that I'm still corrupted, that's your own assumption and that's your own judgment. The reality is I can't please everybody. They have their own agendas, and 99.9% of the people that are against me have their own agendas. And I just want to say thank you very much to all my supporters. And it's just sad to see negativity of videos upon videos, and they're putting me in a clown suit and all this other stuff that doesn't need to be. If you really want to, the next campaign, and I got to give respect to Paula Massey, major respect, because she did not come after me one time. She said, if we're going to work on these elections, we're going to work on our merits. And the rest of them came after me, and some of them, they won't even debate me. So that goes to show you, Mrs. Diane Sharp talked about transparency. Councilwoman-elect talked about transparency. I wanted to debate her. She didn't want to show up. Same thing with Lou Martinez, because I believe, and I still to this very day, believe in transparency.
What do you say to the people, though, that say, hey, you can't debate because you're not an actual candidate?
Then I would say that's a farce, only for the simple reason is that wouldn't you want to know who you're going to be voting for and who do you want to see? Because perhaps I get in, you're still going to want to know my policies, because my policies might have changed from 3 years to this very day.
But I guess you have that right now in November.
Yes, I do, and I'm gonna, and I hope this is an open challenge to anybody that runs. I would love to debate you here, even here on the Joey Morning Show. I would love to debate them, and just to say, hey, have an open forum. Let's be diplomatic about it in the process of that, and let's get rid of the name calling after this point, and let's move forward and try to make a good understanding that all of us represent the city of Hanford. In the process of these videos coming out where people are drunk and have their kids in the video and all this other stuff, this shouldn't represent Hanford. We should be more grown up and more mature about this and work on fixing our community, because right now there's a division, huge division.
I just want to spot something out real quick, just in defense of anybody that you may be claiming.
Yeah.
You said somebody was drunk with their kids in video.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
If they want to see the video, if they want to go see the video at Real Ramirez, Facebook/Real Ramirez, they'll see that Mrs. Shelley Barker, she had a cake saying, na, 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 hey, hey, goodbye. And it was kids in there. There's cussing, people calling me cuss words. That's really inappropriate, especially around children. That affects them at that age, at that such a young age, and that's really inappropriate.
So what you're saying is, come November, it's going to be a different type of campaign, or are you still going to stand by your handforlies.com?
Oh, I will still stand by that if people ask me, absolutely. But that's not going to be the major emphasis on my campaign. My major emphasis...
I guess what I'm trying to say, are you coming more aggressive this November?
Oh, no doubt. I'm going to tell you right now, I was a passive person when I was in city council the first time. This time, I'm going to even speak up more for the will of the people, because they tried to silence me. They really did. Not the council, but the individuals behind some of these individuals that were ran. They tried to silence me, and I'm promising you, they're not going to silence me now. And at the end of the day, I guarantee you, the higher-ups, what I mean by higher-ups, there's pending investigations. The higher-ups are going to be looking at this still and determine who was telling the truth and who wasn't. And the reality is, the citizens could go and check. If they, like I said, I've been trying to be as transparent as I can. And if they still think at the end of the day that I'm guilty, so be it. I did what I did. And I did what I could to prove that I'm innocent.
All right. Francisco Ramirez, you've said a lot here this morning.
Thank
Anything
you.
that I did not cover for you?
No. I think, thank you, Joey, for honestly for having me on. The reality is, let's just move the city forward. Congratulations to Councilwoman-elect. Let's be adults about this. And come November, we'll see who's going to have the outcome of that thing. Thank you
very much, sir. Francisco Ramirez, everybody. Eggs, bacon, and Joey, stay with us. Don't go anywhere.